Welcome, Starfinders, to Starfinder Week. My name is Cody. This is Taking20, a channel about all things role-playing games. And today we're continuing our coverage of Starfinder's core races by taking a closer look at androids, Starfinder's unaging mechanical race. So, I hope you guys are ready. Let's get started. Alright guys, so before we jump in and talk about androids, I want to give a big thank you to my sponsor here for Starfinder Week, Miniature Market. Miniature Market is an online gaming superstore with a huge selection and amazing prices. And guys, I mean that. I personally have been shopping at Miniature Market for a few years now, and they're basically my own online gaming paradise. Their selection and pricing is no joke, and I seriously love the way that they handle shipping. $5.99 gets your entire order shipped anywhere in the domestic US. And if your order's over 99 bucks, they're gonna ship that to you completely for free. And if you just wanna grab a few minis, Miniature Market will ship singles for just 99 cents. And of course, if you wanna grab some serious discounts on the full Starfinder lineup, be sure to check out the link down in the description below. It'll take you guys right to everything Starfinder, and it'll let Miniature Market know that I sent you over. So I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Miniature Market, for sponsoring the channel and helping me make all of these videos possible. Okay guys, so let's take a look at the android. Originally created to serve, androids are now an officially recognized race in the Pact Worlds. The key differences between an android and a robot or artificial intelligence is that an android acts according to their own consciousness and not just a set of programming. In addition, androids are biomechanical, meaning that their bodies are comprised of both mechanical and biological components. This, along with their complex nervous system, allows their bodies to attract a soul to it, further separating them from their robot and AI counterparts. But even with their biological makeup, they still share several characteristics with purely mechanical beings, in that androids don't need to eat or sleep, and that they often don't feel a need to identify with a gender. And while some do dress and act either male or female, other androids might not find it overly important, while some just outright reject the concept of gender altogether as a bond of their former enslavers. Reproduction is another unique characteristic for the android. Because their bodies have the ability to technically live forever through constant repair, and because they lack traditional reproductive organs, the only way for an android to actually reproduce is through a process called renewal. After about a century, most androids voluntarily go through renewal and have their bodies release their soul in order for it to attract a new one. And this process is widely viewed more as a way for an android to procreate rather than a suicide. This, of course, means that whether an android was born in a manufacturing foundry called a creche or through renewal, they are fully grown, typically at birth. As far as appearance goes, most androids appear humanoid, and most actually do appear human as well, with circuitry that glows like tattoos when they are operating at full power. And though some androids prefer to display their mechanical nature purposely, others prefer to blend into society. Additionally, some even prefer to take on the appearance of other races, which is rare but not unheard of. So if you want to play an android that looks like a Vesk, perhaps, you could certainly do so. Due to their past, androids tend to be a bit mistrusting of other races who have often been their enslavers. Androids are also keenly aware of the fact that illegal android enslavement still occurs in places away from the public eye. And this is probably why androids tend to gravitate towards Absalom Station, where they are more fairly treated, and places like Diaspora, the home of the Android Abolitionist Front. In general, androids are quick thinking and very loyal to those that treat them well. And while they do feel emotions very strongly, they can often have issues expressing them well. But regardless of this, most other races would still describe an android's actions as very logical and rational. All right, guys, so let's jump into the stats. The first thing we see is that androids pick up bonuses to both dexterity and intelligence, but take a -2 penalty to charisma. And the racial HP bonus comes in at a very average 4 hit points. For those who want to play an android, you'll pick up the following racial traits: The first is constructed. Androids count as both humanoids and as constructs and will take the brunt of any spell or effect that targets either of those two types. But they also snag a bonus against disease, mind-affecting effects, poison, and sleep. And they don't suffer anything from being inside of a vacuum. The next is exceptional vision. Androids have great vision and pick up both low light and dark vision, making them great scouts for any party. Flat effect, this reflects the android's struggle with other races to understand one another, and the effect does go both ways. And finally, we have upgrade slot. Androids pick up an additional upgrade slot in their chest, so you can double down on armor upgrades so long as the upgrade in their chest would also work for light armor. Android adventurers are pretty varied, and they can fit many different roles within a party. Their racial stats give them a lot of flexibility on classes, and I predict they will probably be one of the go-to races for a lot of groups. So if you're looking for a strong class that pairs well with the android, then look no further than the operative. The android was made to be an operative, picking up bonuses to both dexterity and intelligence, along with superior vision and an extra upgrade slot that works again with light armor. This race class combo fit together perfectly, guys. And that isn't even taking into account the roleplay aspect of having a scout that makes fast, logical decisions. Another very solid choice is the mechanic. The android's racial bonuses are exactly what you want to see in a mechanic. Mechanics will typically rely heavily on dex in combat and will probably be the party's go-to computer savant and skill monkey. That, along with the android's noted affinity for other machines and the mechanic's ability to have their custom rig built into them as an augment that conveniently you would need an armor slot for, you could easily argue that an android mechanic synergizes just as well, if not better, than the operative. The envoy makes a lot of sense to pair with the android. It may still be a viable option for those of you who really want to play one. It may seem counterintuitive to play a class that relies so heavily on charisma as its core stat when you do take a penalty to it, and that is something that you should certainly take into consideration. But the android does offer some interesting benefits to the envoy. While only 4 of the envoy's 16 class skills rely exclusively on charisma, 9 of their class skills also use intelligence or dexterity. Also, the envoy's expertise feature completely offsets the android's struggle with sense motive, and the android's flat effect ability boosts envoy's bluff skills against non-android races. So I could definitely see a few odd duck android envoys making their way into a party. The Solarian, on the other hand, is simply a choice that I would recommend you avoid if you really want to play an android. There's just not a lot of synergy here, guys. Soldiers and Mystics both fall into the middle of the pack as viable but average choices. As I mentioned earlier, I think the android is strong enough that it can fit almost any class, and that does remain true for these two classes. And that's really going to depend on your build. A dex-based soldier with a little help to skills could absolutely work for you guys. And finally, we have the last intelligent-based class, the Technomancer. The Technomancer is another top-tier choice to pair with the android. Good use of racial bonuses and a lot of low-hanging fruit for flavor. You simply can't go wrong with the android Technomancer. So if operatives and mechanics are choice number 1, this would be 1B. And the only reason I say that is because I don't think the Technomancer makes quite as good of use of the android's dexterity bonus as the mechanic or as the operative makes of intelligence and superior vision. But again, it's still a top tier choice for making an effective android character. So what do you guys think about the android? Is this a race that you're looking forward to playing? Do you think it's as strong as I do? Let me know in the comments down below. Also guys, be sure to check out the video's description for a full guide to all of the coverage here for Starfinder Week on the channel. I'm going to be releasing 28 videos over the next 3 weeks, so if you're looking for a place to keep up with everything Starfinder, I've got you covered. If this is your first time here and you love role-playing games as much as I do, I'd love to have you subscribe. Every week I'll be putting out new videos on GM tips, player tips, tutorials, and more, So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, just hit that subscribe button down below and come join us. Once again, I want to give a special thank you to my sponsor, Miniature Market, for making these videos possible. And thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Cody, and may your games be filled with awesome memories and even better friends. I'll catch you guys next time.